Okay. Um, Welcome everyone to our exciting call today. Today is going to be a little different from how we normally have these calls. Normally, we onboard new builders or we talk about new features in the Snaps platform. But this time, we are having the first of its kind called Snaps Showcase. So the idea in today's call is to bring a few outstanding snaps out there who have been performing really great, who have been getting great user reviews, who have been using the Snaps platform in a wonderful way, and who have been contributing a lot to the growth of the system by recommending or suggesting feature updates that would be great for everyone to use. So the idea is to bring these snaps onto these calls and let them showcase their own work and how they've used best practices for engineering, for marketing, for development, and so on. So this, like I said, this is going to be the first of these calls where we have two Snap builders on the call, and we will see what they have to present. But as a kind of an agenda, I'll be giving a general Snaps introduction. This is for the benefit of any new builders who have joined our call. The introduction would not cover in depth on what the Snap is and how the Snap can be developed, but it just gives a brief overview. We would soon have another builders onboarding call, which will go in a lot more in depth on what Snap's platform is all about. So I'll just be giving a general introduction, and then we will jump into the main portion of our call, which is the showcase. And today we have two snaps that we are showcasing. One is PolkaGate and the other is SpaceID. So before we get into that, a brief introduction on the Builders Engagement team here. So we have Shaima, who's a program manager for the Snaps in Builders Engagement. We have Ashley, who's the ecosystem manager for the Snaps team. We have Florin, who is a tech lead, who is working on all the allowed listing stuff. And we have myself, Mario, solutions architect, and I work with onboarding and enabling builders. I'm like the technical point of contact for builders out there. And then we reach back to the Snaps team if we have any questions that we cannot answer ourselves. So with that brief introduction of the team, let's get into a brief introduction on what Snaps are. So basically, the Snaps platform has evolved over time, but the original idea was to add on more functionality to the MetaMask extension. So normally people have all these great ideas that a wallet should be doing, but of course the wallet team may not have the bandwidth to satisfy all those requirements, to build all those great functionality into the wallet. And so what we did was expand out the wallet by having a programmable platform called the Snaps platform. So what we do here is we allow builders who come up with great ideas to code their own ideas into small modules called a snap. And then these snaps are installed within the extension, and thus we kind of expand the feature and functionality of the MetaMask wallet. The simplest analogy is your cell phone. So you buy the regular phone, it's got limited functionality. Then you go to the App Store and you download all these wonderful apps and you expand the functionality of your phone. The same concept holds good here. You use your regular MetaMask extension, but then you go to the snaps directory and install all these wonderful snaps and then get functionality added to your wallet. So when we talk about snaps and these ideas, what exactly could these ideas cover? We could have things such as transaction insights, just like JD was talking about earlier in this call, where when a transaction is submitted to the wallet, we can hook onto that. The Snap can then look at the transaction, make its own API calls to its own backend server, get more insights about the transaction in terms of, is it a secure transaction? Are you dealing with secure contracts, addresses, and so on? And then warn the user if something malicious is there. Similarly, we have the same functionality works with signature. So you can do a signature inside snaps. You can have notifications in your snap. Let's say you want your wallet to monitor some important project out there, an NFT project maybe, and then show notifications to the user, or have a wallet to wallet communication between two users who have a notification snap installed. You could have custom EVM accounts. So if you feel that your idea is better than the standard SRP, like a different kind of an SRP mechanism or a different kind of a key mechanism for the EVM accounts, you can create your own custom EVM snap. You can have cron jobs running. So if you want some process to be running continuously in the background, you can have a snap which has a cron job running. And then based on the cron job, you can make calls to the backend. You can do some calculation and do things wonderfully in the snap in your wallet. You have name resolution snaps. So this again allows a user to type in a name and like Mario AC dot ETH or something, and then it gets translated into an address. So the sky is the limit when it comes to ideas that you can put into a snap, which can then run into in your MetaMask extension. So this is just a tip of the iceberg where you can see the different use cases for a snap. So when you're developing, you may want to have your local instance running, and you might want to check how your snap is working, or you might want to test somebody else's snap, but not in your real wallet, like a burner wallet or something. So you could use MetaMask Flask for your development purposes. So while you're working on your snap, MetaMask Flask is the extension you should be using so that you can load your snap into the extension and check out all this functionality. The reason we have this Flask is because as long as you're developing your snap, it is not allow listed yet, which means it cannot be loaded into the orange MetaMask extension. So you need a test environment to run your snap in. So that's where you use the MetaMask Flask extension. This is also available in the Chrome store. So just go to the MetaMask website, and from there, the links will lead you to the Chrome store from where you can download the Purple Fox or the MetaMask Flask. Now, again, this MetaMask Flask is just an experimental tool. It's only for developers. So if you're not a developer, you shouldn't be installing MetaMask Flask. Also, we don't recommend you importing your main secret recovery phrase from MetaMask table to MetaMask Flask because this is a development tool. Do not use it for your main purposes. So now you have developed your snap, you have allowed listed it. What is the process for an end user going to look like? So the end user goes to the snaps directory where they start looking for different snaps, providing different functionality. They pick a particular snap and they go forward and install their snap. So when they install their snap, a dialog shows up to the user saying, this is a snap you're going to be installing. This has been developed by a company or a developer called MobiMask, and these are the permissions that the snap is requesting. So when we talk about permissions, the important thing to understand is that Snaps cannot run on its own without having permissions. It can do basically nothing if it does not request and being granted the permissions. So it does this using something called the manifest file. So as a developer who's building the snap, that is one of the most important pieces you have to focus on. The snap.manifest.json is where you would provide all the permissions that your snap requires to run. When the user is installing the snap, these permissions are then surfaced to the user in a small UI, and the user looks at all of them, is comfortable with the permissions, and grants permissions for the snap to be installed. Snap gets installed, and then the user is able to use the snap. So keep in mind that any functionality that you want your snap to possess should be shown as a permission, and then the user approves it and then installs your snap. So it all works on a permission-based system. Looking at the general execution environment, how the Snap platform and all the other components come into play, this diagram kind of summarizes it. So in the center, you have the MetaMask extension, and inside that, you have the MetaMask Snaps platform. You, as a builder, would provide one or at the most two deliverables. The first deliverable is, of course, the Snap. The second deliverable could be a companion dApp or a UI. The reason for the UI or a companion dApp is if you have additional functionality which doesn't make sense being in the Snaps UI, but you want it on your website, you want a lot more graphs to be shown about the functionality your Snap is exhibiting, or you want a more detailed UI for a wallet kind of a feature, then you can create a companion dApp. A companion dApp is not mandatory. You could have all your functionality within the Snap and its UI, as we would see in today's demo of the two snaps. But if you want some additional functionality, you can have it in a companion app. So as I said, as a builder, you would have two deliverables, one, which is your Snap, and two, which is optionally a companion app. The snap gets uploaded into the registry, and today we use NPM as our registry. All the allow listed snaps reside in the NPM registry. When the user installs a snap, then MetaMask extensions Snaps platform pulls the package from NPM, and then the snap runs within the MetaMask extensions platform. So this is a general idea of how all these components work in. Additionally, we also have composability where other dApps can also access your snap. So if you have a great snap, like in today's demo, we'll see a great snap where it interacts with the Polka.dot network. If other dApps out there would like to interact with the Polka.dot network, they can come up with their own version of a dApp and then still interact with the snap that the user has installed. We also have other snaps which can talk to snaps directly. So snap to snap interaction is also possible. So with this, we kind of build the composability of the snaps ecosystem. So this diagram kind of gives the entire picture of all the components in the snaps ecosystem and the snaps interacting with themselves. A brief on a snap lifecycle. So just like any other software component, we do have lifecycle events or hooks on snaps. Going briefly over them, we have the install event or the lifecycle hook. So when a user installs a snap from the snap directory, it runs through the on-install hook. So as a builder, you could put in code there to initialize your snap, to initialize the data structures, make API calls, and get some initialization data, etc. On the update lifecycle hook, so if a user already has a snap installed and you as a builder release a new version, then it can go through an update lifecycle where you have a hook called the on update. So this would be the place where you as a builder would make changes to your snap. Say, for example, you want to change the data structure of your storage for the new snap version, then you would write that code in the on update hook. This is also a place where you can surface a UI telling the user these are the new changes coming up in the snap, and you can summarize the changes that you're making in your snap. A snap doesn't run 24 hours. It just stays awake whenever in response to messages or events. So when a snap receives a message or an event, that's the time it wakes up, it does its job, and it goes back to sleep. So like I said, if the snap doesn't detect any JSON RPC request or a notification message for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, then it goes into something called a sleep mode. This is just to conserve resources on the user's browser and within the extension. If a user doesn't want to uninstall the snap, but just wants it to stay quiet for some time, like it doesn't want any interaction with the snap, the user can also disable the snap. So we just go into the snaps menu and there's a disable radio button there, click on that, and the snap remains disabled. So this is an idea of how you can take advantage of the different lifecycle hooks or the stages of a snap and make sure that you get the best out of the platform. Key derivation, what's a wallet without key derivation, right? So snaps allow us to derive keys from the main SRP, which is in the extension. Snaps, of course, don't get access to the SRP. They can just call entropy functions and derive public and private keys and use them for example, to sign stuff. Now, if you're a non-EVM kind of a snap, then you can use the same SRP, derive a key, and then use that to sign and send transactions to the non-EVM networks. Keep in mind that if your snap does any kind of an entropy related call, it has to go through an auditing process. This is needed just before your allow listing. So say you're done with your snap development and you needed to get on the snap directory or the snap store, it has to go through an allow listing process where the internal team reviews your code, reviews all the modules involved, and then we approve it and put it out on the snap directory. But if your snap deals with entropy functions, with key related functions, then it has to go through an extra step of getting audited. We have a list of preferred auditors. and we would want your snap to go through that audit process, resolve all the issues that rise during the audit process, and then proceed further towards the allowed listing. Now, auditing does cost money, so we do have a grants program called the MetaMask Grants Program. So you can apply for it, get a grant, and use that to cover the cost of auditing. So I tried to run as quick as possible over the brief introduction on snaps, just because I wanted to allocate the rest of the call for the outstanding snaps. But before we get into that, do we have anybody having questions on what I went over so far? If no questions come to mind, you can always reach back to us async on Telegram and Slack or email, and we'll be able to answer your questions in a more detailed manner. So if there are no more questions, I would like to now get into the meat or the body of our call, which is showcasing outstanding snaps. So we have Kami on the call from PolkaGate, sorry. I'll just stop sharing my screen, and Kami, you can take control over.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm Kami, and the CEO of PolkaGate. Let's dive into the PolkaGate universe. As an introduction, first I walked you through a brief roadmap of the PolkaGate Snap, where we started and where we are headed. And then I highlight the key features of the Snap and how it enhances the user experience. Yep. No, it's disabled. Okay.
Yes.
So in the initial version of the PolkaGate Snap, like other earlier snaps, the snaps only could sign transactions generated by dApps. The pop-up interface was very basic, with limited components, just text and raw elements. However, in the latest version, as seen in the picture, the pop-up has been completely redesigned using newly introduced components, providing a significantly improved and more user-friendly experience. But now we have a fully featured Snap. You can initialize transactions directly within the Snap without needing to visit the dApp for everyday use cases. This has been made possible thanks to MetaMask Snap improvements like JSX components, the on-home page, and on-user input listeners, and other enhancements. In the current version of PolkaGate Snap, you can list tokens on the Snap homepage and view their balances in real time, add and remove tokens, transfer funds within MetaMask without relying on external dApps, stake tokens, not just solo, but also full staking, securely export your account, and much more, all within the PolkaGate Snap. And looking ahead, our roadmap includes support for multiple accounts. Currently, the Snap supports only one. And cross-chain token transfers, bridging between Polkadot and Ethereum to facilitate token transfer across these ecosystems. In Snap token swaps, and many more exciting features to come. For a fast review, let's take a look at the short demo of staking. We select the token. After reviewing additional staking information, we choose the amount and we want to stake, and the type of staking, solo or pool. We adjust the settings based on our preferences and going to confirm page and confirm send transactions. And you can view the transaction on the Explorer. That's it. You stake your dot. After a few days, when return back to the Snap, you will see your rewards, which is claimable. Yep. Challenges. Of course, developing a MetaMask Snap comes with its challenges and limitations. State management is not like React programming. It's more restricted, likely due to security consideration, making the flow a little bit complex. Limited components, while MetaMask has added more over time, we still need to create custom ones. Frequent updates. MetaMask Snap is evolving quickly, so we must keep up with the changes that may affect your Snap. Allow listing delays. It typically takes a few days for a Snap update to be reviewed and listed, making urgent fixes a bit challenging. Limited component props. For example, we can adjust paddings, margins, or such a simple things like background colors. Restricted nesting. Certain components can't be placed inside others as a child, like a section inside a button, or on-click events are not available for some elements. And dependency mismatches. Flask as MetaMask development environment often supports newer package versions than the production environment. So sometimes we need to downgrade dependencies. Despite these challenges, they push us to be creative, leading to innovative components and UI solutions. Here's an example. On the left, you see the default MetaMask Snap Radio group. On the right is our custom implementation, offering a better user experience, which adjusted with our need in PolkaGate Snap. As another example, MetaMask provides a basic input field as a Snap component. Building on that, we designed a more user-friendly and customized input field to better suit the PolkaGate Snaps needs. Yep. Before wrapping up, we'd like to express our gratitude to MetaMask Snap team for their continuous support, and a special thanks to the Web3 Foundation for funding the initial version of PolkaGate Snap. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I'd be more than happy to answer. And you can also find ways to connect with us through the settings menu of the PolkaGate Snap, as shown on the screen. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kami. That was really astounding. What I liked a lot was the way you customize the controls to make it your own. I'm thinking that you should start off a toolkit, a Snaps toolkit for UI controls, provide it as a downloadable package so that all the other Snap builders out there can take advantage of the wonderful tools you've created.
Yeah, why not?
So any questions for Kami on the PolkaGate Snap? If not, we can jump on to the next showcase. So Kami, if you could kindly stop sharing. Jerry from SpaceID. Thank you, Kami. Jerry from SpaceID will now share the content and talk about their wonderful snap.
Thank you, Kami. Thank you, Mario. Yeah, let me share my screen. Yeah, so let me just briefly introduce you about SpaceID. Right, so we're a Web3 domain project, right? I think we all love ENS, right? And one of the feedback we found from other ecosystems is that we all love .es, but we do see all this new L1s, L2s launching, right? And all of their communities do want their custom domain names as well, right? So we developed this toolkit to help every ecosystem to launch their own branded Web3 domains, right? And we built this front end to be sort of an aggregator for all Web3 domains. And for example, in the search bar, you can search for vitalik.es, right? You can locate that domain and the record address. You can also search for cz.bnb, right? You can find that is resolved to see these public wallet addresses. And if you just type for example, I want a name, right? We'll give you some suggestions for some of the top name services we aggregate in our platform. So currently we host 25 name services covering 2.6 million domains owned by like 1.3 million addresses. Some of the features include ENS. The .ip domain we launched recently in collaboration with Story Protocol, and also the .g domain launched together with Gravity. We have built our product to be all-in-one platform, so people can discover what domain they want. They can register across different Web3 domains, right? .bnb, .g. And also they can easily trade these NFT domains on this platform as well. They can list their domains and buy the listed domains from others. They can also set primary names and manage what do they want to sort of appear on different chains in the management settings. So we also offer this like multi-chain management, domain management services for users, so they don't need to go to each individual name service to do it one by one. So we built this toolkit to help all the ecosystems to easily launch domain. So we label it as a SpaceID toolkit, right? So it's sort of a 1 to 2 day development effort for we to develop like a new branded TLD from an EVM chain. And we do have this SDK and API services such that people can resolve the domains, for example, .es, .bnb, .crypto, .arb. We push these integrations via the form of SDK and VPI to our partners, so that it's easy for them to add the domain feature to their dApp. And we are collaborating with Trust Wallet, BSC Scan, and a lot of the top ecosystem players regarding integration of domains. And also for MetaMask, I think Snap is a great feature for us, right? We leverage the name resolution feature, and we do build a landing page for the MetaMask Snap on our website as well. So we have a tutorial video on this, right? It's actually really easy to use, right? So here we ask users to connect their MetaMask. First, they need to check if their extension is updated to the latest version, and then they can just connect their wallet to download the Snap directly, right? And for all the domains they registered on the SpaceID platform, for example, like .bnb, .es, .arb, .zeta, right? They can just type these domains when they want to transfer tokens instead of remembering or copy pasting their addresses each time, right? So the Snap is really a powerful feature for us because it automatically supports all the different Web3 domains we launch on our platform. So it has been quite well received among the partners we collaborate with. So that's the basic feature for the Web3 domain stack. We are also exploring something new. For example, we are building a payment ID product, right? So the thesis is that a lot of crypto users are actually CEX users, right? And they sort of, if they are using their CEX account to receive crypto, sort of they could also have like a domain service to map their CEX deposit addresses to a particular domain to make it easier to transfer crypto, right? Just showcasing a video here. So users can bind their deposit addresses from CEX in this payment ID app. Sort of is also working multi-chain, right? Not only the EVM address, but also Bitcoin Solana address, they can quickly import under its name, right? For example, this user, he registered Robert Lee, and he'll automatically get like Robert Lee at Binance and different CEXs, right? And as long as he import the CX deposit EVM address to his payment ID, it can also be resolved in the Snap as here. Such that, so if the user is transferring crypto from its on-chain wallet to CEX, or he's using this ID to collect crypto from other people's wallet, he can just send robberly at Binance to others instead of like checking what's his deposit address on Binance and copy paste them again, right? So this is a new product that we are launching very soon. For the Web3 domain Snap, we have received like 30K plus installs, right? And we'll further collaborate with all the ecosystems to incentivize users to download these snaps. And also the payment ID feature, I have discussed, right? We are also collaborating with CX partners. I think they will help promote the payment ID together with the Snap, so we can get some support from CX as well, right? That they hopefully they can become another channel for us to onboard some users. And also, lastly, we're also just exploring a way to give domains not only to wallet addresses, but also to contract addresses, right? Because like I think it's important for people to know like what kind of contract they're interacting with, right? So if we can give names to the contract, I think it will improve the UX as well, right? So that's still at a preliminary stage. Once we have more product, we can further discuss with the Snap team of like how we can actually give names to the contract addresses as well. That's all from SpaceID side. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Jerry. That was a wonderful presentation. I just want to switch back to our slides. So if you could kindly stop sharing, please.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving back to you.
Yes. So I think we had a great session today, our first of our many calls where we want to showcase on multiple snaps and the outstanding work that they've been doing. From what I've seen in today's presentation, I definitely see that it's a feature-packed snap, like having cross-chain transactions, having staking, new features such as payment IDs, and so on. So just having a feature-rich snap in terms of functionality definitely adds value to your snap. Users are able to get into your snap and see that they don't have to jump to different pages on a website, but it's all there within the extension. That kind of automatically improves the value of your snap. We've also seen some examples of great immersive experience. The PolkaGate Snap has done a great job in customizing the default controls, having good looking radio buttons and things like that. So Kami, seriously, we are looking into having third-party contributions. So it's not just you as a Snap developer provide your Snap, but you can also provide features and functions that your Snap uses that other Snap builders can use. For example, your toolkit, if you can have that as a separate module that other Snap builders can use, that will be great. We have people on the call here. Extremely Snap Sogol, she's got a lot of AI services, which we are thinking could be a good a match for third-party product. So I've also seen the SpaceID Snap having additional marketing stuff. Like, for example, they have a good landing page, which talks a lot about their Snap and the functionality being offered by their Snap, which can be used by others. They also have video tutorials on their landing page, so users can check out what the Snap does before actually installing the Snap. And we've seen some excellent feedback loops from the PolkaGate Snap, where they put down the challenges that they face and how they overcame it by being more creative or submitting a request to the Snaps team, and where we could respond back with those feature upgrades. So this first session, I think, is really great because we get a good idea of how not only you can make your Snap better, but we also from the Snaps team can make the platform better in providing all these added features, in providing the requests, in providing third-party market for other tools that can be used by Snap developers. So we hope to have a lot more sessions in the future where we showcase multiple snaps. Maybe more snaps would be volunteering to come on the call to show how they have made their snap better, how they've used better engineering practices, marketing practices, and so on. So with that, I would like to say a big thank you to PolkaGate and SpaceID for being featured on today's call. And as I said, our channels are open for questions and answers. So please send out your requests, your questions on Slack, Telegram, email, and we'll be able to respond back to you. With that, I'd like to call a close to today's call, and thanks everyone for joining us. And yep, have a nice day.